Welcome back. All right, the next video, very similar to the last, but covering the Google Play console. Now, I will say that I'm not as familiar in the Google world. I have gone through this process many times for apps, but it's not as second nature to me. So with that, I will just apologize in advance for any stumbles that I make. But I'm in my Google Play console account. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a new app. So we'll call this the same kind of thing, the Open Mic app. We're going to make our language English USA. It is an app, not a game. It is, for now, free. We'll change this later if we end up adding a billing model. Declarations. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I accept all these things. Cool. Please read those. Okay, wicked. So something that's kind of nice about Google Play, it kind of like walks you through it. It's a little bit of like a wizard. Like we can go here and select testers and create any release and all that kind of stuff. So let's go through this process. So I'm just going to let's see, create a new email list. I'm just going to call it Open Mic because I don't want it to be the same as my other thing. And we'll just add one of my alt emails here, which we'll do a comma. Oh, okay, no, I guess we don't need a comma. And enter email address is added. Oh, may I have to? Oh, hit enter. Okay, hit enter. Cool. Save changes. Yes. Okay, now we'll choose Open Mic as our thing. Feedback. I don't think that's required, and let's just go save. Okay, so next thing, create a release. Awesome. So one thing I'm confused about, do we have a, let's just look at our app. So we'll do another quick tour of this. So first of all, when you kind of land, you're given like, this is your organization, but what you want to do is click on your app, and then you get this whole new menu. We have a dashboard, and it's giving us like all these fun things we need to do. Inbox, that's just like messages, whatever. We'll come back to that. Releases overview. This just shows us all of our, releases. We don't have any. And then we have these different tracks. So to speak on that, you have your production track, and that's like the app that is either in the App Store now or is, being approved. It's basically like your release cycle for your production app, your real one that people are going to touch. And then there's a bunch of different testing tracks. So you have, pre-launch, pre-registration, internal. Oh wait, I don't think this is actually one. I'm not sure. I usually start internal testing. So internal testing, you can basically upload your binary and give it out to specific people. Closed testing is similar to that, but like you can have like a more, broader set of people. Open testing is actually like people that I think you still have to invite them to it, but they don't need. There's not like a list of people. They can kind of just like accept and go. And then obviously production, anyone can get that the app's available to them in their, in their country. Bunch of other things here about analytics and viewing your bundles and stuff like that. Inside setup, we have stuff like our app signing. We will have to go deal with this at some point. Internal app sharing, this is to, essentially share with people. There's actually a really nice tool that makes it really easy to invite people to your app without going through this whole process. Yeah, advanced settings. These are some advanced settings. Very good. Now, everything to do with your store is done under the store presence. So you'll see in here, we have the store listings. And we'll just click create default. And okay, there we go. The Open Mic app. Let's give this a short description. Find open mics around you. And here, we'd have a longer description, but it needs to be larger, so we won't worry about it. And here's where we would upload our app icons. Now, I feel Google is more forgiving with their screenshots and stuff like that. But you don't need as many, and I think they just kind of give you like a minimum size. It's a little bit nicer, and I think it's because like there's so many different Androids. It's not like iOS where they have these flagship, specific things. It's like Android can be on anything. So I don't think they're as rigid, but they do want you to have a phone one and a tablet one. I don't think all these are required. I think as long as you have one of each, you're okay. Chromebook, you definitely don't need unless your app's a Chromebook one, Chromebook app. So it's giving me warnings, which is kind of annoying. I can't even fill this out without saving. But anyways, you get the idea. You would just go through and do this. And then, yeah, that's most of the store stuff. We will leave and discard. Experiments, I guess that's like A/B test. Yeah, A/B testing. So you can have like, different variants and track them. Not something we're going to cover now. Store settings, this is where we'd select our like categories and stuff. So we would go here and let's pick music or something. Is that an option? Music and audio? Sure. We'll save that. Okay. Cool. Doesn't close automatically. We can give it tags. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. We have to give some contact details, external marketing, all that kind of stuff. And then yeah, quality. This is where you see all your ratings once your app's in the market and people are doing it. This is everything to do with subscriptions over here, so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go back to our. Were we making a release yet? I forget. Let's just go and do this as if we were. Now the one thing I'm confused about is, and why we kind of went on this thing. Oh, I guess because it hasn't been saved yet. I want to know what my bundle identifier is basically what I'm trying to get to here. So let's figure that out real quick. Okay, here we go. Set up. Okay, privacy policy, app access. There must be something in here for our. Maybe we need a store listing before, which would be really annoying. Let's just quickly Google set up Android app. I don't think it's called a bundle identifier, so set the application ID. Okay, but this is on the code side. I don't care about that. We want to do it through Google Play. Declarations. Okay, create app. Find your APK files. Product details. Okay, we've seen that already. Yeah, where the heck do you do this? Do we need to actually create the store listing before? That's true. That's going to be annoying. All right, I'm gonna pause for a second, figure this out. All right, what we're gonna do, because I think it'll happen through this process. We're gonna go to internal testing and create a new release. Although we're already creating it, so I'm clicking on edit release, and here we go. We're going to choose a signing key. So we'll just use the Google generated one. You could do this, completely locally on your own machine, but we're just gonna choose that, and we'll see it's spinning. It's doing some stuff. Okay, we now have a signing key, which is great. And then this is where we would upload our binary. So let's do that. But we of course need a binary first. So we're gonna go to the Flutter app code base right here. And I'm gonna go into my make file because this is something we're gonna probably wanna do a lot. We're just gonna make a command called build Android. And there's a few things we need to do, but basically the order is we're going to run Flutter build, and we want to build an app bundle. And we're going to do no shrink as an optional parameter. I forgot why, but that's just what I like to do. All right, and then if we do run this, we are going to have some errors, but let's just see what happens. So I'm just going to do make build Android. So again, my make file is just a way to sort of have some project-specific like aliases, where I can just run make and the command, and then it'll just run this code. Now, let's see. Let's just let this run, and then we'll see if there is an error. So I came across this little error. I was doing the build, and it's saying something about invalid source 17, some compile release of Java. So I have actually opened the project now in Android Studio. And it's doing some stuff. It's doing some build Gradle stuff. It might solve it. I might also have to, install a specific version of something. But yeah, we haven't done, we haven't worked on this app in Android very much at all, if any. So these things are bound to happen when we're trying to obviously compile it for the App Store. So stand by. I'm going to pause again and just get this stuff resolved. But just keep in mind, there'll be these kinds of things, I'm sure, if you're not usually building to Android. I'm back, friends. Me and my friends on Twitch over here have solved this issue. There's some weird versioning of Java and all this boring stuff. And if you're like having that same problem, seeing these really weird errors, find me on Twitch and you can watch the full version of us solving this. But we now have a AAB file, which is essentially a bundle of your app binary and all the stuff, basically what we're going to upload. So what I like to do is in my make file, this is just a fun little trick, because opening up this file is annoying. So what I actually like to do is, and this will work on, at least on a Mac, it might be slightly different on Windows. We can actually go open, and this will then, when it's done, open the folder. Now, if you really want to have fun, you can also use the command say, which I like to do, because then it will tell me, my computer's gonna speak to me saying build finished in its lovely robotic voice. So I'm just gonna run this command again, just so we can kind of see this all happen. It'll be quicker, hopefully this time. I mean, it definitely won't be the full hour it took to fix that thing. And there we go. It went, and my computer, although I'm not recording, you might have heard it over the microphone, but it said build finished to me, which is nice. So now we have this file. Now this isn't quite going to work yet, but I just kind of want to go back to where we were and close all these lovely things. And let's upload that file. So I can click upload, of course, and I can go here and drag it and click open. And we're likely going to get an error here. It's going to say about, we haven't signed our keys or whatever. If it does, I am right. If it doesn't, I'm not right. But something's going to happen, and we'll just let this go. So there we go. You uploaded this. It's in debug mode. So, okay, we need to actually do this properly now. Because when we're debug mode is totally fine for just like building to our own device, but we want this to be signed and good to go. So to do this, we need to generate a key pair and all this exciting stuff, which plenty of articles for this. You can just Google how to do this, but I will show you how to do it, and hopefully it'll make sense. Let me put this in here and make it bigger. Can't really make it that much bigger. But we're essentially on a Mac. It's a little bit Windows. There's a different way to do it. I'll just show it here for Windows people. It's pretty similar. It's just kind of like the way your pathing is going to be different on Windows. But basically, we use something called Key Tool, which is, I'm not sure if it's built in, but if we have the Android SDK, I believe we have it. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate a key, specifically a key store type. And we're going to use this thing called our upload key store. I think that's where we're saving it to and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to use all these settings, and we're going to run this. And rather than putting it here, I am going to, in my, let's go back a directory, since this is like a mono repo. And I'm going to make a new folder in here, make dir called resources. And inside resources is where we're actually going to put this. So let's actually just go in there, and we'll change this command just to do it in the current folder. And let's just run this right here. So now we need to do a password that I'm going to hopefully remember. Re-enter it. We'll give our information, first and last name, sure. I'm just going to be developer. What is the name? I'm just going to use my company name, and let's just use Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And is it correct? Do I type yes? I guess I type yes. Okay, so now we should have this key store file. And if I just open this folder in Finder, you'll see we have the upload key store. Now, what I really want to do is make sure that, oh, I put this in the resources. Yeah, this is where we wanted it. What I want to do is also in my main directory is just, I'm going to make a .gitignore file here, unless, oh, we already have one. We already have one. So let's just open up the .gitignore that's in our root directory. And what I'm just going to do is make sure that that resources folder is not version controlled, because I don't want that going up, onto GitHub. So we'll just do resources there, and then it won't actually be something that I commit to the code base here. Okay, so there's our command. Again, Google it, or you could try and type it out from seeing it here, but there's plenty of articles on how to do this. Doesn't have to be a Flutter article, just something about Android. Okay, so now that we have that, what we need to do is go into our, we have to make a new file actually. We're going to Android, and we're going to make a new file right in our Android directory, and it's going to be called key.properties. There we go. And here we're going to put some information. So we're going to put our store password is going to be equal to something. This is the password that we just made, so I'm going to fill it out off stream. And then key password is that the same one? Key password and store password? Key alias is whatever we called it when we made this command. So the alias would be upload right here. So we'll just write the word upload. And the store file, and what we can do inside that resources directory is actually just do a pwd, which tells us the something working directory. What does that stand for? I forget what it stands for right now. And of course, we need the name of the file. Print, I think it's print working directory is what that stands for. So we want to have that located right there. Cool. Now, by default, this file won't even be version controlled either, which is nice, so that if you have multiple devs, they won't have a conflicting one. They'll just have to make one themselves. So I'm going to just, on another screen, write the password that I made. And hopefully, key password and your password is the same. I think so. And I'm just going to close that file. We won't look at it again. Okay, so now what we need to do is tell Android, hey, you're actually going to build in release mode. So let's open up our build.gradle, which I'm now very familiar with after dealing with this. We want the one, there's two build.gradles, but you want the one inside your app folder. And let's just make things a little bit easier to take in here. And we're just going to put in this code that I'm getting from this article that you'll probably find on Medium. This is the article in case you're wondering. Wow, that was flashy. I just Googled, how to do this because I don't remember off the top of my head. And what this is basically going to do is it's going to get our key store properties. It's going to look for a file in our root directory called key.properties. And if it exists, it's going to, set those. So we have that. And then what we need to do is in our signing configs, which I think is in the same file. Yeah, signing configs. So right now it's set to signingconfigs.debug, but we're actually going to, where's this located actually? There is just that one. Okay, so I think we just make this. I think this can just go anywhere within this. So signing configs. So here we get it from our key star properties, and we actually for release want to now use signingconfigs.release right there. Okay, so we'll save that. Then let us kill this terminal, and I'm going to run that command again, make build Android. This one will take a little bit longer because it's actually going to, sign stuff for us. Okay, there we have it, our app. So let's try this out. We'll just, I'm just going to put this back here, and we will remove this and upload again. And sometimes that happens where it doesn't let you select it. And let's just see what happens here. Perfect. Different error, which is always fun. When you get a new error, you're moving in the right direction. Okay, so different package name because com.example is restricted. We didn't actually update our bundle identifier here. So let's actually do that. And we can just search for com.example throughout our whole project. And yeah, there's apparently a whole bunch. Oh, I thought we updated it in our iOS side. I wonder what that's coming from. But yeah, let's go in our build.gradle, and we're going to change this to com.tylersavory.openmic. Okay, I'm just going to copy this. And we're going to do the same thing right here. Make sure we don't make a typo. And in our main activity, we want to, I think we do that too. There might be a better way to do this. I apologize. And everything else looks like it's Xcode, or oh, there's a Linux. That's why I'm seeing Linux. I'm probably seeing it in the Mac OS version. Yeah, we changed it in iOS, not Mac OS, obviously. Okay, so let's try building again. All right, our build has finished. We will go back here. We will remove this, and we'll try uploading it again. And hopefully now it's using the new name, and it's not com.example. Now remember, that has to be unique. If you just use something that is already used, I believe this is the point you would get that error. Similar to the restricted one, it would say this app bundle already exists, etc., etc. There we go. So we have it. Let's actually now just scroll through. So this is where you put your release notes, and something I love about Android, about Google Play, you can copy release notes from a previous one. In iOS, you always have to type them out or have them saved somewhere and copy them again. And yeah, you put them here, and if you had multiple languages, you'd see them already broken up with with them, and you just put the English one, the Spanish one, whatever. Let's just call this initial release. and click next. Then it's just kind of telling us some errors and warnings. It's saying, this contains native code, but I'm not uploading my debug symbols. Okay, cool. That's a topic for another day, debug symbols for Crash. And let's just go save and publish. Now we're publishing it just to internal testing, so it's not like it's going out to the App Store. But here we go. We have it. It's ready to go. We got our code signing working. Everything is great. Oh, look, we have this. So this is our temporary name. That's the one we made, but it hasn't been reviewed yet. I think but when we actually set up the listing and all that kind of stuff and you actually submit for review, they'll approve it because obviously they want to make sure it's not something inappropriate or whatever, because this actually becomes, the URL inside your listing. So various reasons they might want to approve that. Okay, so imagine you do that. People can test it. Another thing I wanted to show is actually the it's a quick way to get a test up. So if I wanted to share this with people, I would have to go and actually create a list of people, which I think we already did, and then invite them to it. Oh, here you go, testers. So you should see that open mic people are in here. They could come and get it if they've gone through that process. There's also a copy link you can do, so you can copy this to someone. And there is some other thing. Let me remember. I have a link for it here on another project. Yeah, it's internal app sharing. And what's cool here is, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back. You can just actually drag an AAB or APK here, and it'll give you a link, as long as it's one that's part of that you have access to in terms of its bundle ID. And then you can just share that link with people, and it's just easier for them to download that exact one. Because the funny thing about Android testing, I don't know if it's funny, but it's all done through Google Play, like the Google Play Store. Whether it's a production app or an internal, testing or closed testing, basically, if you've invited people to it, they'll start to see in the normal listing your beta version, and it'll like warn people saying, hey, this is a beta version, that kind of thing, if they, if they have access to it. So sometimes that can get confusing. You're not sure if they got it, and there's sometimes a delay from like when you submit it to like when it actually shows up for them, depending on where they live, et cetera, et cetera. So something I like about the internal sharing is you can just give them something, give them a unique link and be like, download this, and they just go and download it and install it right from that link, and then you're like more confident that they're actually using the right version, because all this can be confusing, especially to non-software people. So yeah, that's basically it. Now, in the case you fill out everything, you want to submit it. Basically, there's the idea of promoting a release. Like you generally create the release in internal testing or one of these tracks, and then you actually go promote release and you choose production, and it copies everything over. It still lets you, update stuff here, and you would just go next and submit and stuff. I'm not going to go through and do this because, like, for instance, we can't do it yet. There's some stuff we have to complete, so it's going to help us through that. And then you would submit it, and then you would go to releases overview, and you actually have to kind of submit you have to you get your submission already packaged up, including like whatever changes you've done, which might not just be your binary, it might be like your metadata, your descriptions, and then you actually go and you submit that through. So just be wary of the releases overview section. You could think you've submitted it and it's all good, but you got to go here and click usually one more time, like another button, and then depending on if you have managed release or manual release on, kind of like we showed in iOS, it'll either show up when it's approved or it won't, and you still have to go back here and actually publish it. So that's about it. That's what I wanted to cover in this one. Turned into be although there's only a 20-minute video or so, it took a bit more time to solve some Android stuff. So anyone who's having that issue, anything specific with building in the most recent or pretty recent versions of Flutter to Android, hit me in the comments. I can, if you're having that problem, I can make a video just about that maybe, or at least point you to the time code in the Twitch when we actually solved it, because it was a little bit tedious and annoying, and we're installing different versions of the Java and blah blah blah. I hope you don't have that issue. I hope it just works. But yeah, that wraps this up. And one thing I want to say that is cool about Google Play Console is you can actually update. There's certain things about your listing you can actually update without submitting a new binary. They kind of keep the app listing a bit separated from the binary, whereas Apple, for the most part, it's like all a package deal. So it's kind of cool because yeah, you could like decide, oh, I made a mistake in one of my screenshots, and add, make the fix and not have to go through a whole app review process. So there's some pros there. Both systems, Google and Apple, I have my qualms with them, but overall I think they're decent, and do get the job done more or less. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys in the next one.